good to me. This is some good old hand clapping and foot stomping music. Huh? Y'all with it?
So bad to me is when you lying about what you're singing. You're singing a lie, but it's still the blues, but you're just singing a lie. But if you've been mistreated by your lady, you understand me, and she left you, and you make up a song about her mistreating you, you're not lying. You're just singing it in a blues style. You see what I'm saying? I preached a message here once, and I talked about my subject, my topic was nothing but the blues. And I talked about Elijah running from Jezebel. She wanted to kill him, after what he had done. She wanted to kill him. But he was running from her. Then he ran out of wind and set up under a juniper tree and asked the Lord to take his life. All they had to do was wait on Jezebel. See what I'm saying? And she'd have killed him if he wanted to die, but he really didn't want to die. He just had the blues.
You may be old, you may be high, you may be low, or in the now, Lord, you sure got to go, sure got to, sure got to.
The Hill Country Blues, I think, is so close to the roots of the blues, like the kind of, just pre-American African music. And a lot of the old school spiritual music is too. And so the two of them are really kind of sonically closer than even spirituals are. You're more like Chicago blues or Delta blues with the 1-4-5 chord changes and shuffle rhythms and everything. The Hill Country Blues has a lot of stomp beat, which is a lot like a church beat. It's basically the same thing in a lot of cases. And when I was working with Terry Bean, who is from the Hill Country, but he really plays more of a Delta and Chicago influenced style, and he was talking about the Kimbroughs and Burnsides, and he said, yeah, those guys play with a church beat.
Maybe you may live a long time, but you don't know.
Growing up in Memphis and in North Mississippi, music is a family tradition that's passed down to countless numbers of families and the whole community. And two sides of that is gospel and blues, rock and roll and blues.
Way is different, like I said, was because it's how you treat it. You can play music You can play music in the church and enjoy doing it just like I do. And then you can play blues out different places and enjoy it. It's what you do while you're trying to enjoy it. If you're taking and using it for something else other than what it's supposed to be, then that's what make it bad. You know, I know a lot of guys that was in church, man, singing, playing music and everything, and had more women than the guys that were playing blues. And some of the guys playing blues were real true to what they were doing. They'd go play blues and, hey, how you doing, and go home. And I told a lot of people, they said, no, man, you know what you're talking about? Look, I play both gospel and blues. I know what's going on both ways.
Is that all right? All right, you better enjoy yourself while you're still here. One of these days you're gonna have to move from here. And I'm working on my building. Are we ready? Now I'm getting ready to take y'all to church. Y'all ready? I don't know who went this morning, but we didn't go. We didn't go now. Ready? Victory is mine. Victory is mine. Victory today is mine. I'm so grateful. Victory today is mine. Oh, victory is mine. Victory is mine. Victory today is mine. I'm so grateful.
Our daddy history, I wish I could tell you about everything, but I can't. Just the part I can remember. As a small kid, during that time, he wasn't playing blues, and he was playing. I started ministering in gospel, and playing gospel songs, and so I started off with him when I was about 5 years old, a little guitar, you know, and started beating on it, and I know anything I was playing, you know, and just on and on. And when I got about 9 or 10 years old, I started playing for different groups around in the city, gospel groups and different churches and all that. And then as I got up as a young man, like 18s, yeah, I thought I was grown, you know, and I started playing both sides. I would come down in cold water in the Middle of Mississippi and juke trunks and play blues and go back on Sunday and play gospel with the gospel groups, yeah.
You can't hurry God. You got to wait and give him time. He's a God you can't hurry. He'll be there. You don't have to worry. I know he may not come when you are in love. He's a right on time. I believe I said it again. You can't, oh, you can't hurry God.
I guess it was in the Lord's plan for me to be here as a musician, because I didn't know all these blues singers, you know, had been here and recorded and all this type of stuff at Hunter's Chapel, you know. And after I got here, you know, I found out about Otha Turner. You know, I know he would be here on Sunday, every Sunday just about, and he was sitting back there in the back, you know. And when really I didn't know that he was the man he was, you know, until he passed. And after he passed, we had his funeral, man. The church was just full of different people from different places. And they always had said that they had heard about my daddy had a son play guitar, you know. So after I got through doing the eulogy and everything, and they cared about out and everything, then these couple of guys came to me. They didn't live in Zero. I think it was out of town someplace, overseas or something, but they came to me and asked me did I ever knew a man by the name of Robert Wilkins? And I said, sure, that was my daddy. And one of the guys said, man, I told you that was him. That's him, you know. And they want to know, first thing they want to know, could I play prodigal son, you know. I guess they want to see what I really did, his daddy, my daddy, you know. He went out and got a guitar. And after service, I sat here and played it, man. And man, and a few months later, I was over in England.
He's a God. Somebody know that. You can't hurry.
Oh, no, you can't hurry.
He'll be right there.
He'll be right there.
You don't have to worry.
Oh, you don't have to worry.
I know he may not come when you want him. He's a right on time.
And I got to know Otha, and Otha went to Hunter's Chapel every Sunday. That was Otha's church. And Hunter's Chapel is still alive and well, you know. So let's segue to Reverend Robert Wilkins, you know. He was a hardcore blues man, but totally was converted and went hardcore gospel music and never went back to playing blues. Many bluesmen, you know, would play blues and gospel and combine the two and walk both sides of the fence, but not Reverend Robert Wilkins. And his son, Reverend Wilkins, now keeps Hunter's Chapel going. Hunter's Chapel is still just a wonderful, it's the home of Hill Country Gospel. You know, that's where it lives and breathes.
You don't have to worry.
Oh, you don't have to worry.
I know he may not come when you want him. He's a right on time.
Yes, he didn't have to wait in this morning, but he did. Yes, he did. Yes, he did. Oh, yes, he did. Yes, God did. Yes, he did. Yes, he did. Oh, yes, he did. I can't thank him enough. I can't love him enough. I can't lift him too high. Yes, to see you don't know.
Well, my grandfather, Miles Pratcher, and his brother, they played music. My grandfather, Miles Pratcher, used to play guitar, and my uncle played fiddle. And so we've been around singing ever since I was a child. And ever since I was about 6 or 7 years old, I sing in the church. Started off in the church, Mama Rat, CME Church.
Well, when I was growing up, I used to watch my uncle. There was a lot of male groups singing, and of course, we sung in the church because we went to church, and they would have a choir for the children as well as for the adults. So I would sing in the choir, and but my dream was, because we was in the cotton fields, my dream was to be able to sing and to be like Aretha Franklin, Gladys Knight, and make money so I could get my family out of the cotton field. So I used to pray a lot and ask God to bless me to be able to sing. And I never knew that he would wait until I got older to, actually let somebody feel that we could sing.
And I've been singing since I was a small child. Basically, when I know that I really started singing with my father. My father used to sing in the gospel choir at church, and I was a little girl, and he started letting me sing with him. He was such a dynamic bass singer, and I've been told I kind of got a voice like his. And so I started singing with him when I was in church, and just from there on, I just kept singing until I got adult.
Well, my grandfather was named Miles Pratcher. And when Alan Lomax came through, he not only did our grandfather, Miles Pratcher, had an uncle named Robert Pratcher, and he played the fiddle, which was a very unusual thing for a black man to be doing. And but Alan Lomax, when he came through, he also recorded Otha Turner, Fred McDowell, There was a man named Lonnie Young, who different ones. He went around and recorded different ones.
Still all right now? How you doing, y'all? Thank you so much tonight. We gonna pray. We come to pray tonight. I found out, y'all, when praise go up, blessings come down. And I don't know about you tonight, but I need a blessing. That's why I'm out here on the battlefield. That's why I'm running every day of my life. Sometimes going when I don't feel like it. Sometimes going with tears in my eyes. Oh, I come to tell you, 99 and a half won't do. You got to run this way. You got to run it to the end. Oh, to the end. Oh, I'm running, Lord. Trying to make a hundred. Yes, I'm running. You don't try. Yes, I'm running every day of my life, y'all. Oh, 99 and a half, it won't do that. I'm going every day of my life. Yes, I'm on it. You don't try. Yes, I'm on it every day of my life. Oh, 99 and a half, it won't do.
The way we started singing as Come On Mama, I was really trying to help her son. He was rapping. They was in high school and they called themselves trying to rap. They made a little CD and we thought it was so good that I was trying to find somebody that would be willing to listen to the CD. And we had mailed some out, and every time we mailed them out, people would either, we wouldn't hear from them or they would send them back. So I called Alan Lomax, who had recorded our grandfather's archives in 1959. And I was asking one of the guys there, Bert Lyon, did he know anybody that would be willing to listen to my nephew's CD? So about a year went by, and after about a year, Mike O'Reilly, the guy that you see online, he came down, and by the time he got there, my little nephew wasn't singing anymore. And he had a different little group singing. And so I told Angela, I said, Angela, let's do what we can to try to keep him here. Angela and I started singing, and he made the statement, I wish I could hear y'all's grandfather. And I knew that Esther had a copy of his CD, so I called up to her house and told her to bring it down. And when she brought it down, we told him, said, we all sing. He said, well, let me hear y'all together. And so when he heard us sing, he said he felt that Angela and my voice complemented Esther's voice. And what excited Mike O'Reilly was the fact that the little town of Como, when they found out that we was called the Como Mamas, they got behind us. And, you know, they act like they was really excited for us.
I'm not here, and you know y'all, it's real cold, it's real cold. You gotta run, you gotta run, you got to run on, you got to run on. Work it hard, you gotta run, work it hard, you gotta run. Break it you gotta run. Sometimes on the journey, you have to run by yourself, yeah. Sometimes on the journey,
Well, I kind of got started by how you can say most people it wasn't handed to me and my brothers. You know, most people it'd be handed to through their father, but us it wasn't handed to us. We had to learn. I always say the hard way. You know, he would leave the house, him and my mom, and he would put the guitar stuff in the loft. Back in the day, they had lofts to put everything in. And so when he leave the house, me and my brothers, we get together, take him down, and just start it like we just know what we doing. You know, we was just working at it. We kept doing that for a while, man, until I think we were like about 7, 8, 9 years old, something like that. And when we finally got ourselves a rhythm, then our father come home one day, and my mom, he parked the car back up the road and walked around the curve to the house and heard us in there in the living room playing. He come through the back door. He standing at the door looking at us. And man, look at him. You talk about when we seen him. Man, I'm telling you, excuse my language, man, but I tell you, man, really, man, like to crap a brick, man. I said, God, man, we finna get a beating. He said, no. He said, y'all keep on playing what you doing. He said, keep on. And so we kept on, and he picked his guitar up and started playing and stuff and everything. We played a little bit, and we were happy. We feel good to know that he was not gonna whoop us. You know, he told us don't mess with instruments. And see, that time being hard-headed really paid off, you know. And so after that, he told us, sit us down. He said, well, see, if I would have just said, here you go, y'all play it, you would have started and then just would have left it alone. You wouldn't want to do it because you wouldn't have no interest in it. But if I knew that's what y'all wanted, you'll figure some kind of way out how to get to it. And so we did. He said, now you'll be like this from now on now. And so that's how we got started.
Tell me a little bit about your dad and his background in music, how he got started.
Oh, he got started, I had my uncle, man. I didn't have but one auntie, he didn't have but one sister. And she was singing, and my uncle, I think I had 2 uncles, that was playing music, and he was the youngest out of all of them. And when they get ready to go play somewhere, they would take him. Back then in the day, they had a mule they would ride on. Like 4 or 5 of them get on that one mule, it was a big old mule. And the mule would sit out front of the porch. When he got through playing music, come there, get on the mule, and the mule know his way home, And so Dad used to go with them, and he would sit there where they was, and they'd be playing and singing and stuff, and he'd get up and do what he had to do, because they were teaching him how to play, And as being a little brother. And so when he played song, what he would do, they'd have him to go outside there. Well, you go outside there, you sit out there with the music. Sit out there with, I think his name was Ben or something like that. And he would sit there with the mule, had a back so wide, he'd lay on the back and go to sleep, And so if they wanted to send him home early, they'll tell the mule just, take him on, go to the house with him. Take him to the house, and this mule would take him to the house and come back to where they was, I said, wow, man, that's nice. I said, have me one like that today, man, I'd be all right. I wouldn't worry about no car, But that's how I got started. And then plus they did gospel music too. And they did gospel music for a while. And then he went off and started back to playing blues. What he did, they wanted him to imitate other guys playing their music and stuff. He said, I could do that. He could play their music. Like Lightning and all those guys. But he said he chose to play his own music. He said, I mean, they being themselves, why come I can't be myself,
I didn't meet Junior till it was sometime in the 80s. Johnny Woods took me down to his house. Me and Johnny used to get together a lot. You know, I was doing construction work, and when I get off work on Friday, a lot of times I'd go pick Johnny up, and he'd come stay at my house, or we'd go out rambling from one house party to the next, and, visiting different people, hanging out and playing. We'd play about everywhere we went, you know. But so Johnny took me down to Junior's. We were out riding one weekend, you know, and so let's go down to Junior Kimbrough. He had his house party on Sunday. Junior told me later on that he started rehearsing with his band on Sunday afternoons, and got to where so many people got to come, and he'd sell a little beer, a little moonshine or something. I don't think they ever charged anybody to come in until he got a real juke joint. But his house is right on the outskirts of Holly Springs. It'd just be full, the parking lot be full. The next place I knew of he had, rather after his house, was a log cabin up there outside of Holly Springs. A little small place, but that's where they filmed that Deep Blues footage that they used at Junior. And then he got the place out on Highway 4 later on.
Oh man, whew. I tell you, it was, the environment, man, was just like an earthquake every Sunday, man. I mean, it's just like when people just couldn't wait to get there. They would come early, like 4 o'clock in the evening. And they would stay there from 4 o'clock in the evening all the way up until it's time to close. They still don't be going nowhere. And I said to myself, I said, Daddy, when I first went down there, I said, these folks don't want to go home, dude. He said, no. He said, I guess they just love what they're doing here. You know, he said, because the music was so special to them that there were older people. They live their life, that they especially live to come up there on a Sunday because I guess it rejuvenate they, you know, back in the day when they was teenagers or young men and women. They would come there, they would dance and everything every Sunday. It was good exercise for them, you know. And it kept them up, it kept them on their toes, because they just like exercise in class, right? They would literally come to the exercise class just for Sunday and dance all night and feel just as good, you know. And it made me happy.
Was my school and in my church. You know, it really was. I didn't really go to church much. You know, I had some family members go to church that stayed in the house with me, but not very many. You know, we grew up in a juke joint. That's just how we grew up, you know. And I'm not ashamed of that. It made me, you know, who I am today. That's part of what made me who I am today. Is growing up in the juke joints and learning, you know, juke joint style, you know.
And the vibe there was so special to where it wasn't no people down there. You know, you had some folk gonna have some words, you know, as anywhere you go. But wasn't no serious fighting and serious killing or nothing like that. Never happened there. Even though the place looked like that's the type of place. But it was the nicest place you ever want to go to because he set the rules down. He said no fighting, no fight. No drugs, no drugs. He said any and everybody welcome. He said, I don't care if you black or white or whatever color you is, you welcome to come here. He said, even though you black or white, there was a black or white Chinese or Lebanese, I don't care. If you start some stuff up in this place, you leaving. I don't care what color you are. He said, because we are here to have
I began by listening, you know, at my Big Daddy and my dad and uncles, you know, play the house parties and you know, juke joints and whatnot. So I was about 6, 7 years old, and I remember being one of many grandkids, you know, sitting there listening at the music. I was one that was in amazement, you know. I was like, wow, like this music, you know, even though I hear it because my Big Daddy and them play it, you know, I was just fascinated by it. And watching my dad play drums, I was like, I have to play this. You know, I knew at that age that this is what I want to do. You know, I want to play this music for the rest of my life. But I just remember, you know, besides the house parties, you know, my Big Daddy, you know, he used to go out and sharecrop, you know, just about every day of the week, except the weekends, and sometimes even on Saturdays, you know, and Sunday was his, you know, really real day off. But yeah, I remember him coming, you know, getting up early in the morning. Sometimes, you know, I would be up, sometimes I wouldn't. But I would hear him play his guitar a little bit before he go out and get on the tractor, you know. And when he get off the tractor, before he go to bed, you know, he would pick out his guitar and play his guitar a little bit, you know. And so I remember those days, you know, as a kid.
left. She said, come on when my baby. A husband left, a husband left, a husband left, a husband left.
I don't take his style, but I learned from, I learned from him just by watching him. It's not like he got me and sat me down and showed me how to play guitar, because that never happened. I wish it had. But I just, I toured with my Big Daddy for so many years, 12, 13 years I toured with him. And I was able to watch his stage presence. I was able to watch his finger movements. I was able to watch his, just his whole physical being on stage, how he presented himself, and his really weird, unorthodox rhythms on the guitar at times, as well as vocals. And I really loved it. I really, fell in love with it, and it was challenging. It's hard to do those songs like he do them, and I always tell people that if I was trying to fill his shoes, I'll be out of luck. The same with Junior. I think that's impossible to fill those guys' shoes. It's really too big. So I'm happy to make my own mark, and I'm really proud that my Big Daddy helped me with that. He helped me make my own mark by believing in me, taking me on the road with him, and just telling me that I could do it. So that right there alone, to me, is enough to thank him and pay tribute to him for appreciation until I leave
Yes,
this world.
I love you, little girl, and I love your husband too. I'm just fooling in your husband, baby. Trying to get along, trying to get along, trying to get along, trying to get along, so love long. Well, if I can't come here, let me lay down.
I have to say, man, from then to now, it's been a hell of a journey, but I thank, the good Lord, for letting the universe work with me, and I thank my Big Daddy, Otha Burnside, for just opening the doors, for the Burnside family, as well as, other great musicians who love, this style of music. So I'm very grateful.
this is Mississippi fife and drum. It exists in other areas, but here they're the only living family that keeps it alive. It's a homemade bamboo cane fife, blowing the melody, and then you have a marching bass drum, or a couple of drums, snare drums. So it's marching drums and melody. And to me, people talk about the North Mississippi Hill Country style. I think that Fred McDowell's guitar, R.L. Burnside's guitar, Junior Kimbrough's droney style, it all is tied into the aesthetic, the principle of the fife and drum of melody and rhythm. It's like Delta blues, Chicago blues, Memphis blues is more harmonic. It's chord changes and structure. The Hill Country blues is just droning, man. It's just the bottleneck slide or the bamboo cane and the voice and the riff and the melody, the boom, 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 chicka, boom, boom, chicka. To explain the music of Otha Turner and his Rising Star Fife and Drum Band, and Sharde, Otha's granddaughter, Sharde Thomas, and the Rising Stars Fife and Drum Band. She carries the tradition on. Otha passed when he was 94, but he had passed his tradition and legacy down to Sharde. He, taught Sharde how to hold the annual goat picnic.
'cause it's only been, but now he's gone, and I don't worry, sitting on top of the world.
We're gonna do another song that says, you've got to move. So that means you gotta move, all right? I want y'all to be moving down there, all right? I can't hear y'all clapping. Let me hear y'all clapping. Come on. But you got to move. You got to move. You got to move. You sure got to move.